Hey everyone, welcome back to Shade Review. In today's video, we are reviewing the Serengeti Lenwood sunglasses. But first off, in today's video sponsor, our own website, shadereviewstore.com, the absolute best place to buy designer sunglasses, up to 80% off the original MSRP. Again, our website there is shadereviewstore.com. Check it out. So let's go ahead and pop the sunglasses on face and talk about the dimensions. These have 57mm lenses and an 18mm bridge, and then the hinge to hinge distance here is 139 millimeters. Now, Serengeti considers these frames to be an extra large pair of sunglasses, and they do not make a smaller size of these. So you're going to be stuck with these 57mm lenses, which typically doesn't sound like it's that large, but this is a square lens, and 57mm for a square lens is definitely going to be on the larger end, or if it's like a pilot or aviator style lens, 57 is going to be the standard size. But here we can see they definitely offer a bold and oversized style to them. However, I still think I can definitely pull these frames off. They're still obviously going to have an oversized style to them, but they don't look like, goofy large. They still do look good, but they still look large, if that makes sense. Now, as far as the exact colorway that I have on today's video, these sunglasses have Serengeti's shiny caramel acetate frames, and they look really, really good, especially when wearing these outdoors. And the lenses are their mineral glass polarized 555 NM lens. It's a really, really high quality photochromic category 3 to category 3 lens. Is also going to block 100% of UVA and UVB rays as well, which is extremely important for your eye health. And then the polarization is going to be really good and going to block 99.9% of glare as well here. So this lens is great for boating activities or fishing or any use where you're going to have some really high glare situations. Now, these frames are made in Italy. They say here in the inner right ear rest of the frame, they say made in Italy. And then here in the inner left temple of the frames, you can see exact color code and model information. And then here in the inner right temple of the frame, it simply says Serengeti polarized. Now, if we take a closer look at the front of the frames, we can see a little kind of painted on Serengeti logo here in the top right corner of the lens, there for authentication purposes. And then if we move to the outside corners, we can see this little metal accent here. And then here in the outside temple of the frames, we can see a Serengeti logo there. And then again, another little metal accent. Now, these metal accents are just going to be pressed into the warm acetate when the construction is happening. And these accents are not there for structural reasons. They are just simply there for show. So if you look through the top acetate, it's not going to show up on video, but you can actually see that this metal accent here on the front is just going to be pressed into the acetate and is not connected to the hinge at all. And same with the little metal accent here in the outside temples of the frame. So they're just there for show, and they do look really good, and it definitely makes the frames look better, in my opinion. Adds a little bit extra character to them, but it definitely shows that these frames are going to be more towards their lower price point of around $300 versus like a pair of $500 frames, which are going to have better construction in many ways other than just the connecting the metal accents. But that is definitely something else that I wanted to note there. Now, as far as the weight of these frames goes, they're actually going to be relatively heavy, coming in at 40 grams. And that's because these frames have these absolutely massive 57mm lenses. So you really can't get away from that all glass weight. And because of that, they also don't have the best balance to them either. So as you can see here, they're definitely very top heavy because they have these kind of thin acetate temples. And then the all glass lenses are very, very thick. So you're definitely going to feel some discomfort when wearing these frames for a really long period of time. They're just going to be very, very heavy there on the nose. Now, these frames do have a metal rod that runs through the acetate frames. You can actually heat these frames up and adjust them to give them a custom fit to the face. So that allows you to wear these frames smaller or wider depending on your face, and that is really, really nice. Now, these frames also do have very nice and premium 3-barrel all metal hinges, and they feel really, really good right out of the box. Maybe just a tad loose, but of course you can tighten that up with no problem, but they still do feel really good right out of the box. Very nice and substantial, as we would expect from Serengeti. And this hinge is in fact connected to the metal rod that runs all the way down to the acetate, so that's really going to help with the structural rigidity of the frames, and that is definitely kind of a must-have with a pair of acetate sunglasses. If you're going to break that $150 price point, you absolutely need that that to happen, because otherwise it's super easy to just break the frames if you sit on them or something like that. Now, as far as the pricing goes, these are going to run you around $320, which is definitely a pretty decent price because they do have these polarized lenses. However, we do have these available on our website for a substantial discount off the original MSRP, so make sure to check out shadereviewstore.com if you're interested in current pricing and availability for this pair of sunglasses. Now, as far as coverage from the sun goes, these frames are not going to offer very good coverage from the sun. So here up top, we can see there's a massive gap to let sunlight in unprotected. And then here on the sides, again, there's definitely a massive gap that does let sunlight in unprotected. So overall, not the most practical pair of frames, but that's to be expected with a pair of square acetate frames like these. Overall, I think it's a pretty decent pair of sunglasses. I do like these. Again, personally, I think these are just a little bit too large and definitely a little bit more attention grabby because they are so large, versus if they were more narrow and small. I think they'd look a lot more classy and sophisticated and nice, and you could wear these with kind of like even a button-down suit probably. These are just gonna be a little bit too big in my opinion to make them look classy, but that of course is for my particular face size. If you have a larger face size, these frames can definitely look really classy and nice, but that's just my personal thoughts on these. But that's all I got for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up down below, and of course make sure to hit the subscribe button and then to be notified every single time I upload a brand new video just like this one to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.